Hey guys, it's Coach Herb. Just wanted to go over the notes for today. I know there was quite a few people that were out from different reasons and out of class, and just want to talk about how the Enlightenment spreads and what it caused to change during this time frame. And we've talked about the scientific revolution, how it brought doubt into the world through the studying of the physical world, and then that doubt led to an intellectual change where people doubted and questioned the roles of government and society and the way that it was made up. And so you did a foldable on that, and you need to make sure you got that in. We're going to go over that tomorrow. But all those thinkers and those ideas, John Locke, Thomas Hobbes, Montesquieu, Rousseau, they all questioned the world, and that forced change to take place. And those ideas didn't just spread. We learned things through the internet. Well, they didn't have that back then. They had the printing press, but they also had a new idea called salons. And so the Enlightenment spread through these salons, these social gatherings in which artists and thinkers exchanged ideas, even to the point where Dennis Diderot had the writers and thinkers of that time make copies of their work and give them to him, and he was making an encyclopedia, the encyclopedia that we know of today as Wikipedia or Britannica or all those different things. Gets its base from Dennis Diderot and the salons that made up the Enlightenment. And so that's how ideas spread during the Enlightenment. But the Enlightenment ideals of order and reason were reflected in the arts of the time, music, literature, painting, and architecture. And so before the Enlightenment, you had a really distinct style called Baroque. And you can see it in the background of this slide. This is the Hall of Mirrors in the Palace of Versailles. And it's very ornate, it's grand, extravagant style of architecture. Art did this, music did this. Everything was so grand. And if you were in class today, you would have heard some of the Baroque style music and how grand and ornate it was. You'll see that changes at least a little bit during the Enlightenment. Um, European arts of the 16 and early 1700s have been dominated by the Baroque style, and they were numerous examples, like I talked about. Uh, After the Enlightenment comes about, and people start questioning these things, and order and reason take over, and you have this style, very elegant still, but simple, more simple than the grand, ornate designs that were of the Baroque period. And it was inspired by the Greeks and the Romans. Under the influence of the Enlightenment, artists and architects worked in simple yet elegant styles that borrowed ideas from classical Greece and Rome. But it was called neoclassicism or neoclassical because it was a new classic. Anything that was inspired by the Greeks and the Romans was classical, but this brought it back again. Renaissance did that, but this was a new form of it, and so it was new classical. And so this is the difference between art. You can kind of see that in the background picture here. This is still a very elegant room. I joked today that I'd feel nervous here because I would feel like I was going to break something, but this is still a very elegant room, but it's more simple than this picture here. So again, that's the artistic differences. And this difference extended to music and literature as well. Uh, Classical style of music's developed. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and Beethoven and others. They broke from Johann Sebastian Bach's and Frederick Handel's ideas of Baroque music into these simpler but still elegant tones, lighter. And the cadences changed. It was a different style of music. And this music was heralded around the world, meaning that it was loved. It was some of the most popular music in the world. And we listen to some of that today. And Mozart's music, he was a prodigy from birth, a savant in terms of musical talent. His music is even noted as being great study music to help your brain function better. And so we see that even today, it's still very important and very much loved throughout the world. But it also changed novels. Uh, Writing during this time would get a new style, and these writers would write in fictional novels, um, carefully crafted plots, knowing the inner workings of the character, their feelings and their ideas and their thinking process, and using suspense. And they became very popular with the middle class because they allowed people to escape. reality. Thomas Hobbes said the world was very brutish and wasn't what people wanted it to be. So these novels allowed them to escape that world because you could dive into the novel and be in a story, and there was suspense of what was going to happen next. And so this is how the Enlightenment changed art and music and literature during this time. Tomorrow we're going to study how the Enlightenment changed people's thoughts on who should rule in terms of the colonies in the Americas. We're going to see that the Enlightenment had a huge major effect on causing the uh, American Revolution, and we'll also go back over the Enlightenment thinkers to make sure we really understand those ideas. Okay, so I hope this video helps. If you have any questions, make sure you email me. One more thing before we go, I want to go over the assignment for today. And so if you go to Schoology and you find October 22nd, week 9, you'll see this document, and you can click and make a copy of it. And so that's here. You go to weekly units on Schoology. You scroll down till you see 26 through 30. You click in the Enlightenment, and then October 26th. And you can click down here, and you read the directions. And it says the Enlightenment was also a period of great changes in music and art. We just talked about that. Research each of the people below, then drag and drop their names into a box on the correct side. Finally, describe some of the most famous accomplishments in each box. So you have 3 composers, 3 artists. So say you think that Beethoven is an composer, which is someone that writes music, then you put him here. Then you click in this box. You're going to have to hit enter a couple times, and then you can type right here. What do you type? Well, you're going to learn that from these blue links at the top. So if you click this blue link, you can open it down here. And if you scroll, you'll see that it talks about Mozart, Bach, Delacroix, and Beethoven here. So you'd read this information and see if there's some most important accomplishments. If you can't find the things you want to find there, and it's accomplishments, so it's at least 2, you can click here and go to biography.com. And when you do so, you can type in this search, Beethoven. And then you find this Beethoven here, and you can read all about Beethoven. And he's got everything you could ever need from Beethoven. Okay. And so again, you find this on Schoology, and you just do this for each person. So again, you could pull this guy and go over here, and then you would write about him as well. Okay. If there's any questions, again, send me an email. This is due Sunday, so make sure you work on this and get this done. Hope this helps, and have a great day.